Rose of Sharon has one of the most impressive legacies in history right from the very start. Rose was designed by Starling Burgees, a smaller version of his very successful design, Nina. In 1929, 3 of these schooners of this design were commissioned to be built from Eastern Shipbuilding in Shelbourne, Nova Scotia. The Rose of Sharon was commissioned by Thomas W. Lamont for his son, Austin Lamont. Both of these gentlemen were affluent pioneers in American history, and they afforded the best. Rose was built to the highest yacht standards of the time. In Austin Lamont's autobiography, there is mention on how important sailing was to him and what a positive influence it had on his life and his career. Rose of Sharon was purchased in 1935 by Wesley Pape, who renamed her Cristobal II. She enjoyed a fine racing career under that name. In 1941, she was sold again to Charles W. Stoll from Escanaba, Michigan. Charlie Stoll was a lumber baron, businessman, and avid yachtsman. This was his second schooner. He went back to the original name and kept her for the rest of his life. He loved taking family and friends out sailing on the Rose of Sharon and was one of the founding members of the Escanaba Yacht Club. Because his schooner was now on the Great Lakes, during the war years, Rose didn't get conscripted into the military service like many of the boats on the coast did. Charlie took very good care of Rose of Sharon and owned her for over 30 years. In the late 1960s, upon reading magazine articles about the Schooner Association in California, Charlie started a correspondence with Byron Chamberlain. So when did you first hear about Rose of Sharon?
He started writing me because we had Golden Hide and we were doing all these racing and things.
Right.
Out here.
You remember about when that was?
It had to be about 1967 or so, because he died in 1970 and he knew he was dying, and so that's when he started sending me these letters, and he'd been reading about it, and he wanted to get the boat out here. He wanted the boat to come out here because we had a lot of activity going out here. I went up there to Escanaba.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in January.
Oh my God.
Storming, snow, rented a car. They lost all my clothes. Went up to his place up there, and I didn't know that I knew he was in the hospital, and I planned to see him. And so when I got up there, the guy said, "No, you won't be able to see him. He's gone." He was gone, and the last things he said was that it was my responsibility to find the next buyer of that, next owner of that boat. And he's not interested in what it's going to cost. He's only interested in getting it here. And just a wonderful guy that's meant so much to him, just like it's meant so much to me. So I wasn't faced with a lot of options.
Wow.
So I told this one friend of mine that was a boat builder, Roy Wildman. Roy bought the boat, and he and his family sailed it out around, went down to New York. That was the first and only time he ever raced. He raced Rose of Sharon in the New York Yacht Club regatta of some kind, and they were first to finish. And of course you stop at the top, so they cruised on down for 2 or 3 years, went through the canal, came up to Washington.
During the delivery out to California, Roy realized that Rose needed some major restoration work. He hauled the schooner out and had her trucked into Bob Sloan's boatyard in Costa Mesa. After about 1.5 years at this, he decided he did not have the financial means nor the time to complete the project.
He came over to my house one day and he said, and this was in Christmas time, and I said, what's going on? And he said, people want to buy Rose of Sharon, but they're telling me how bad it is and all this kind of stuff, and it's going to be a mess and it's not worth anything, and on, negative things. And he said, so here's 2 choices. You have 2. He said, 1, you either take the boat, or 2, I'm going to cut it up. Well, so immediately I think of what this man was responding about and what my position was. Here's a man that was dying and was counting on me to find a home for the boat. Everything else, he had everything else taken care of. So anyway, that put me in kind of a tough spot. And I said, well, I've just finished rebuilding Andale, the California 32 that I brought up from Mexico. I said, I don't have any money left, but I'll trade you Andale and I'll finish Rose of Sharon. So I did, and that on December 7th of 1976, Rose of Sharon became my boat.
Wow, in a trade.
Hiring local boat builders, it took Byron about another 3 months to get the hull ready to go so that Rose could be launched. Then another year of hard work before she was ready to go sailing. And Byron sailed her, keeping with Charlie Stoll's wishes, for the next 40 years of his ownership. He campaigned her in as many of the schooner events as possible. He sailed her in the wooden boat San Diego to Maui Regatta, winning first place. He took her cruising as far north as southeast Alaska, all down the west coast, as far south as Puerto Vallarta. Byron and the Rose of Sharon won cases full of trophies and boatloads full of friends. Byron afforded all the maintenance and repair costs with countless upgrades. Byron is a man with a true passion for sailing his schooner. In 2017, Byron put his beloved schooner under the care and protection of the Maritime Preservation Trust. These maritime treasures, like the Rose of Sharon, don't have to die like us mere mortals. As long as there are people to maintain, rebuild, and restore them. When their perpetuation is afforded, it's not just the thing that is saved. It's the legacy of the designers, the builders, the owners, and everyone who crewed aboard and made those wonderful memories happen.